Hey, Clover.
Dennis, you're up the old tree today.
Clover, did we invent God so folks without dad issues could still play?
Dennis, did you ever meet my father before God killed him?
I thought your father was Ren's bassist Kevin Whelan.
No, Kevin is just tight with my mom since way back. I was terrified of Dad. He wore a single, muscular, hairy-knuckled human hand just for doing spankings. The original monster in my house. One day, God just made him dead. I realized family is just animate meat. My real fear was discovering I owed them nothing.
Well, no more than you owe any other person, anyway.
Ah, you've got me there. Mainly, they're just people.
Clover, it seems real easy for a duck to waste all their fit and happy years trying to make themselves a thing these random strangers want. Call it a family, but we no more picked them than we did the weather.
Probably couldn't have picked better weather than this, though. Want to walk with me a piece?
Sure, let me put my kicks back on. Where are you off to, Clover?
I gotta go to the store for some linseed oil. I got some cast iron I need to season. Felt like a good little weekend project.
Ooh, nice. Get the windows open, put on an audiobook, dust every single bookshelf.
Gotta say, those are some impressive kicks, Dennis.
I guess. They got lots of coosh, lots of ankle and arch support. Much as I'd love to walk around bare webbing, as benefits overall fun outdoors lifestyle, well, my mom worries that someone could soak a tack in poison and then hide it where I'm likely to step, and then I would die, instantly before she could beg the angels to take her instead.
I've never heard of anything like that happening before. Is this something I need to worry about?
Nah, it's just one of those parent things. Like when you ask for a dog and they say no because it would have to live in the backyard and then a neighbor could hop our fence and poison it, and then you'd be so sad your grades would suffer. So I wear them, but only if Mom buys them and only if she spends extra for the ones with the Goku decal.
Oh, from animes. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a little silly, but I find it motivational.
In these times, any motivation you can get from anything, well, none of it's silly anymore.
Not good enough there, friend. I showed you my Gokus. Now you have to tell me something silly that's still motivating you in low days. For fairness.
So much silly stuff from all over. I don't think serious stuff has that much motivational power. It's too much like the bad shit that made now like now. Weirdly, I think being a little self-conscious when you enjoy something makes it stick better. You get to be above the thing, but in it too. You occupy a very active mental space.
Clover, you are philosophizing so you can get out of my question without revealing anything. I'm down here clinging to my Goku while you loop the loop on questions of the self.
Dennis, I think you've busted me once again. Here's one. Lately, I'm thinking all the time about the very end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indy and his dad and Marcus and Sala all hop up on their horses. They all just gave up the Holy Grail and eternal life, and they're laughing about it together. I know they're actors in a movie, laughing because of a script, but I feel the giddy joy of failure. Their loss binds them together without old vanities.
Tepid approval of your submission. The widely beloved third movie in a Spielberg franchise is still pretty respectable, bud. Here's another embarrassing one for me. I used to think it was a plot hole in that movie that the bad guy was an American millionaire. Nazis are enemies. It doesn't make sense a rich American would team up with them. They're evil. This is almost a nice world when you're innocent.
Dare by Stan Bush. That's something undeniably silly that made me sob the other day.
That one from the Transformers cartoon movie with Orson Welles?
The one that isn't The Touch, yeah. Like I'm next in line at the bagel place and it comes on their radio. And I, really heard the lyrics for maybe the first time. Dare to keep all your dreams alive. With the news, it absolutely leveled me.
1.5 motherfucking degrees Celsius. Only if we do everything right. Probably at least 3.
Instead, what if I dared to believe in all the better world? Here at the 11th hour, what if I still doggedly pursued an incredible future, a just globe, the end of toil and of fear? These empty men with their nihilistic delights might have taken the Supreme Court, the presidency. They may well yet take the midterms. But I will not surrender my fantasies of a radically improved future to them. We've made it effortless to picture a blighted future hellscape. Dying in a firestorm, a battle for fresh water, a camp. What about dying in peace at 150 on an earth so rich with vibrant life and joy that greed is laughable? A time when I'll meet another person my age and we'll share a chuckle years later, all of us aware of how close we came. The improbable series of consecutive miracles. when a conspiracy of all humanity pulled rabbits from hats every day for 12 years. That's the future I want to be daring enough to dream of. And if I'm wrong, my grave can hold my body and my shame.
People act like believing in something that turns out to be false is the worst sin. Probably that's what we get from being founded by rabid Protestants who are also successful capitalists. You get the individual freedom to pick whatever you want from a market of beliefs, but pick wrong and it's hell forever.
I think it's even simpler than that. The market raises us to see ourselves only as consumers. If you buy in on the wrong thing, you failed. Your identity is gone.
Because individual responsibility, right? If I'm going to go shopping in the market, it's on me to do the research.
I spent a good half hour researching a good food-safe linseed oil, for example.
Research, yes. Now you can be an informed consumer, exactly who you should be, a free individual using research and rationality to discern the best possible product. You're playing your part the best you can, like a civic duty. And we sorta assume, right, that you, Clover, for this cast iron project with this research, well, you will always buy this particular brand of linseed oil. It's like an equation. We put you, Clover, with your research in the linseed oil market today. 100% of the time, we assume you'll walk out with Flaxmaster's food-grade oil, the inevitable conclusion of taste and logic.
Dennis, I can hear you were drumming towards something. I'm excited.
I don't know if it's anything more than, what if that's not true? What if logic isn't a certainty, just a trend? Like, if it were real, if it worked, wouldn't it kick in and save us from ourselves? Like, there has to be more to it than our greed driving us to giddy extinction, right?
I try to live like there is, yeah.
Okay, so, my actual follow-up question. What if we take me, Dennis, and we give me all the UN research and all your thoughtful and inspiring words about the future, and I use my reasoning and our conclusions don't match? What if I walk out of the beliefs market with grief and acceptance? I say, I have seen the probably conservative estimates, I have seen the return of fascism, and I have seen how our efforts to change only trap us more surely, and seeing this, I choose to really see our doom. To not flail, but humble myself and build acceptance. Except we were a novelty species. Except that there are only a few more new Goku decal sneakers ahead. Except that I was here to witness this lovely day with my friend. My question is that a rational position or moral cowardice?
It's not cowardice. I think that's a really hard path to take. You'd have to be really strong to live like that, to hold all that.
It's enough to drive you up a tree. Isn't it strange that just 2 generations ago we wouldn't have to do anything but float down this river all day?
Dennis, I think you're really brave. Braver than me. I don't have it in me to want to look directly at the horror.
Honestly, I don't know if I do either. Part of me wonders if it's just me copping out of my own responsibility to help bring about your miracle future.
Well, then it's on me to convince you with more than words. To build a space that values your clear-eyed pessimism, too. The same way you've set aside space to grieve for even naive fools like me.
Clover, the world is going to lose a real one when God kills you.
That's just one more thing I'm not brave enough to ever really think about. How could this body ever stop? How could my consciousness ever be over? The only way the universe has ever been perceived to me. What could be without it?
Definitely. Sometimes I'll go up the old tree and spend some real brain cycles trying to imagine it. But ultimately, my imagination is like access denied.
Yeah, the meal can never taste itself.
It's a real puzzle. I'm a duck, which means I get some default self-awareness. If I work at it, I can change and improve that self-awareness, which makes it seem as though I could someday reach this stuff.
Do you think you'll be disappointed if you die and don't immediately have perfect knowledge? One big aha!
At this point, death can only be a disappointment. It's so overhyped. Either there's an afterlife or there isn't. Either there's a God or there isn't. Mystery is the only thing that gives the questions any power. We stay driven to ask because we can't know the answer yet.
What if the knowing is what kills us? We know because we die, and we die because we know.
Clover, I love your idea of corpses as people who are too bored to go on.
Sure. If you had perfect knowledge, what could motivate you to ever do anything again? Whenever we desire the perfect, the complete, the 100%, we are desiring death. The simple promises of the shining fascist inside each of us are suicidal impulses. I deeply believe that tedium and annoyance and mess and frustration and failure are the spirit of life. Scour them all clean and you are already dead.
It's funny. My efforts to fully silence my own shining fascist is, in its own way, anti-life. Like, ultimately, I wanted up here chattering away about how I could get my shit perfectly together, but I want to be annoyed that it's there, providing an important contrast to my messy self.
Well, don't forget, I'm the one who says that, but then I'm here to get the just right linseed oil so I can re-season my pans in my fussy just-so way. But I think it's important to have the freedom to move closer to spiritual death sometimes. Freedom of the mess means the freedom to want to be done with the mess of life sometimes. Of course, fuck any actual fascists. No one has the moral right to inflict their self-disgust on humanity at large.
Yeah, it's no sin to think, I wish all these idiots in front of me in line would die, but it is to not feel some shame, and it's worse to try to make it happen.
It's like your conscience farted. Wince at what came out, and try not to call any attention to it. You coming in?
Nah, grocery stores are weird on me. I'll just wait out here. A-do-do-do, waiting for somebody. Nah, waiting even more. Clover!
Ugh, sorry that took so long. It's chaos in there. The cashier is dipping everyone's change in poison before handing it over.
My mom's worst fear, realized. Has anybody called the police?
The police are already here. They said they're, quote, actively investigating all rumors of alleged poisonings, end quote. But that's all secondary. They're here to keep the line to the poison orderly. Anyway, I paid with a debit card.
Probably the smart move would have been to start up a business where you rinse poison off money. Make the cops work for you for once.
Well, anyway, I got us a couple of fancy orange pops for the walk back.
Ooh, it's fancier than I'd ever buy myself.
A good walk, a good friend. Maybe it's my lower middle class upbringing, but I wanted $1 more per bottle of celebration.
They love to keep us believing it's our addiction to tiny comforts that holds us back from wealth.
That's the logic of the machine spilling out of people. It'd run easier if we had no needs.
Starting to think this machine wants me done with the mess of life, too.
It's definitely indifferent to your particular charms, Dennis.